There's another seat.
Or you can sit behind. Well,
This way, if
then I'll
somebody,
have to
you can
move.
get some more.
She's
I'll
got
give you
your-
my email address, just go ahead and
Oh, okay.
contact me. Oh, here, I'll give you my phone number too. I don't text, I only do a landline
Uh-huh, okay.
or my email address.
Email,
Mhm. Yeah. You can contact me, either way.
I'm Betty Ross.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Betty.
That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. It's scary.
Oh, is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
name,
so
sir?
that's how I know
Your name?
teachers and for so long.
Bristol Haynes.
I never met you.
Yeah, I've known Marilyn too. Well, it's over in Maryland.
Yeah, right. And you are
From Alaska, so.
Ron Carson. Everybody knows Ron.
everybody knows Ron. Donna did. You are Churchill.
Yep.
First name is?
Suzanne. Susie preferably.
Susie Churchill. I would have known that if I would have just thought for more of a minute. 'Cause-
Yeah.
And your name?
Betty Haynes, Haynes. The other half of the other one.
Haynes is my daughter's last name.
Come on in and sit down up there.
Two grandbabies.
There's a spot there. How you doing, Miss Short?
I'm
I thought you were gonna take my place.
glad you got my email. I did. Because I got a phone call.
Her last name is Hayes too.
And your last, or your name
Oh,
then?
golly.
My name, Mary Lynn Edwards.
Sliding off.
Just gonna dump me on the floor.
You can sit
I
here.
think there's a reason that was a reject chair.
Be nice,
It's a joke we put on people.
be nice.
Somebody's reject.
Do you want the door
Wouldn't hurt if the doors were
closed?
but we're not quite, it's not quite one,
Oh,
so there might be a
All right.
couple more showing up here.
Do you wanna
Sure enough.
leave the discussion?
The, it's updated.
Did it get updated?
It says it is.
Oh, they don't.
No,
Did you get your emails?
He would know what to prepare. Anything, so I guess that was a good idea. All right, do we have any gossip we can talk about? Got any gossip?
Oh,
Talk about?
we have a lot of gossip.
Yeah, that's typically what we
We
do.
can't talk about it.
It's confidential.
It's recorded, but it's confidential.
Yeah, you do know that all meetings are on YouTube now. Oh, they are? They are, all meetings are on YouTube. Oh dear, I didn't really come in here. Well, they're.
Oh, just at them?
It's pointed towards them,
Good.
so, yeah.
Well, they didn't comb their hair either.
We don't want anybody to watch this thing anymore.
I was the only one that has any.
How many followers do you have?
Oh, thousands.
No, on YouTube, not, I think the most is one day there was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in half-hour increments because that's how YouTube works. You know, this thing's going the whole, when they're in session, it's going. So, yeah, sometimes it shouldn't be going because they're just having conversations, they're not doing business.
Yeah, sometimes we're just bullshitting a lot.
Yeah, and you don't want that out. Well, it's on there.
It's on.
Yeah, so,
I keep telling them, remember, you're being recorded.
We're waiting to go viral, you know, if one is.
Well, just so you know, I'm not recording anything. It's hooked to my ear because I can't hear as well, so you guys are gonna have to speak up for me, so I'll know what's going on, okay? This is
Okay.
supposed to help, but
Supposed to, huh?
Bob, can I ask, do you have a brother who's a priest?
No, I don't, but is it in Billings?
No, but I've seen his name, I don't know where he is, but I've seen his name in the, you know, the Harvest magazine that we get.
Oh, okay.
And I saw you at Mass the other night, and I thought, I wonder if that's no relation, huh?
No, you know, it's a really, lot of the Pancrats spell their name with a K.
takes.
Oh, okay.
But,
Oh, okay. Maybe that's it.
I think
yeah.
we're somehow related though, I think,
Yeah.
honestly. It's kind of an unusual name. so.
Yeah, it is.
It's good to know he's a priest rather than, you know, like a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
We had a table delivered, a little while ago by a semi-truck down at the fairgrounds. And the young man driving and helping us with it, I ordered this table. And they called in, I said, well, how much does it weigh? And they said 190 pounds. I said, well, and who will be moving that table for Larry and I? You know, I mean, that's, I thought, oh, okay, what have you done? So we get there, but it's only 137, which is, that's not a problem. But he had Christ is King. When I read the weight, I crossed myself. Thank you. It's not 200 pounds, it's only 130 pounds. And he said, are you Catholic? And I said, yeah. And he had Christ is King on his t-shirt. He was the nicest young man. Just, you know, we don't have a lot of young men in our church anymore, so that was
No.
fun.
Just me,
Definitely a different world.
just me.
Just you. You don't go to St. Benedict's. You do? You don't go to St. Benedict's.
No.
Oh,
No.
where do you go? Don't go.
The Lutheran Church.
Mm. It's a great church. Every time I hear a sermon or hear do a eulogy, I always say I'm gonna cross the line. It's so great.
I think so far as the board, there's only, well, I don't think there's any other members that we're expecting, so.
Who are the members of the board?
No, the ones that you see seated here.
Everybody?
Yeah.
There's 7 people on the board.
You know,
Okay. There's-
Brad Marking is another
Brad
member, but
Marking.
he is not able to make it. He,
Okay, so
apparently there's a
you're
judge
all-
that passed away and he's covering for that judge.
So you're all on the board. That's
Yes.
great.
That's good, very good.
We were absent one board member because the chairman resigned and I'm the acting chair now.
Good.
And,
It is good.
so,
Hi, you. I'm good. How are you?
If anybody else wants to make a knock.
That's right.
they probably didn't tell you, Bob, that you're supposed to supply drinks for everybody if you're drinking for yourself.
Okay, well,
You didn't get that memo.
There's
Go
water,
get everybody.
there's an ice machine and water out in the office if
We
you
should have
want.
brought
Well,
them a drink.
Yeah.
Mike has his bottle right
yeah,
there.
Mike's got his flask, we encourage alcohol.
It's necessary.
Yes.
Probably part of the job, you know.
Yeah, we got that in the budget, don't we?
It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing.
And I want you to know these guys are jokesters, okay? Don't take everything that they say seriously, please.
Well, if we're ready to start.
Sure, might as well.
Okay, I guess as acting chair, of the board, I would like to thank you guys for the opportunity to meet with you and discuss what are big concerns on our part as the board, as well as, I guess, on your part as the commissioners. Betty sent an email, copy of it to Commissioner Goffney, addressing the areas that we wanted to talk about today. Not that these are the only areas to be discussed at some point in time with the commissioners, or especially with whoever's going to be the representative. Mike has been the representative at our board meetings, and so many of the other things we feel are appropriate to bring up there, but these are some of the things that we've considered that are important, especially the first item. I presume that you've had an opportunity to share it with your other
Oh,
members.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'd like to preface it with, and some of this you've heard from me before, I'd like to preface it with the fact that things that come to our attention that are factual, that we can say, you know, that's not hearsay, I guess, you know, is what we would like to have in order for us to take action upon it, because even in a court of law, if there are accusations made with regards to something, a person has a right to question the person about it. Us not in the terms of defense, but us just in the terms that we would like to find out the facts so that we can determine exactly what the problem is and act upon it as a board. And we feel that, you know, that we haven't had that opportunity in the past, and you all, the three of you should recall at one of the meetings when all three of you attended that I made the comment that even on things that we have heard that were hearsay evidence that we could look into, we have done that on hearsay stuff, such as people complaining about, you know, the portions related to the size of, I think it was desserts somebody was complaining about, and some other things. And so some of those things we've been able to look into. But for the most part, a lot of the things that we hear about and that have come to our attention has been in the form of hearsay. And you know, it would be great if those individuals could be directed toward the board so that we can
Right.
talk to them.
That's where they should be directed.
They should, and there is a policy, procedures for handling complaints that individuals should follow, whether it's coming to the board or whether it's coming to the commissioners on areas that you're responsible for, in the same area too. You know, I think Betty has discussed the fact that we're going to put a notice in the newspaper about complaint procedures with regards to the senior center and how they should be handled and how they should be followed. And there's,
That'd be a great idea. I would think about along the same lines.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Getting all this documented.
and a lot of times I'm concerned, and I think I can speak for some of the members of the board, that they're concerned that the lack of communication from the public to the board is not being conveyed properly, and that maybe they don't understand. You know, maybe they feel that going to the commissioners is the proper place. Just if someone came to us with a problem related to the county, it would be appropriate for us to say, that's not our dog, you know, and you need to go to the commissioners about that, or you need to go to Area 2, or you need to go to the chaplain, or, you know, whoever. So we want to see that put into play the way it's supposed to be, and try to handle that way.
Every time I heard a complaint, I said, go to the board, go to the meetings, that's where you need to do it.
Well, the procedure apparently is to report to to call the director.
Okay,
The,
that'll work too.
Well, will it?
Report to whom?
The director.
Yeah.
To
If-
Tracy?
To
To
Tracy.
report to Tracy, okay.
And if it's about Tracy, you report to the chairman of the board, who brings it to the board. There's the policy. That's the problem.
That would make sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and even if it's a problem related to the operation of the senior center that Tracy is responsible for, if the person can't get it resolved at that level, then they are to come to the board members. And if it still can't be resolved, and it is something that involves going at a higher level, then I presume Area 2, who has oversight on money that is expended.
Right.
So that would, you know, I prefaced our meeting with that being a big problem, is just the communication, because we don't really know what's going on, we don't know what all the complaints are, and what we do know is that there's a concern on the part of the commissioners about wanting to see that the funds that the county matches is being spent properly, or I guess the term has been put to good use.
There's a good
Okay,
And concerns from area 2.
one. Yeah.
so was our first questions as to, you know, what is it that is the concern of the commissioners that you have on so far not, you know, providing the matching funds that we need to discuss and address and try to resolve. Because obviously the center, the senior center to operate needs those funds as much as they need funds from every place else.
Yeah, well, we usually pay them funds to the area too, and I guess they funnel them down to you guys.
That's correct. Well, I'm sorry, I think that the funds that, I don't know if they go to Area 2 first, but funneling down, they send them directly to us in total, whatever that amount of money is that
Okay.
the county provides.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that worked, but I know area 2 is always the one who bills us.
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay.
But they bill us for 12,000, we usually give them 15. We're so nice.
How often does the board meet?
how often?
Once a month.
Once a month.
I think there's been some improvement in the board meeting, and a lot of that came about because we withheld the funds, because we started to see some concerns regarding the conduct of Tracy, and then the things that were happening with how they were treating the seniors, the amount of food that they were delivering, and then the complaints that we were having with people that were being taken to Billings and as being driven over there by Natalie. Natalie, by the way, in our view, does a very good job. But we started to hear all these complaints, so that's why we said, we're not getting any response from the local board. We're gonna hold the money back. So with that said, that's why we are so happy that all
Yes.
of you are here,
Yes.
because we wanna talk to you.
Well,
We talked to Tracy and that shuts off right there, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
We don't, and we got, that was not set well with us.
Well, and I would expect that kind of, you know, response on your part. I mean, you know, communication's a two-way process.
Well,
And if you got
Exactly.
one person not communicating, whether it's her or whether it's your side, you know, that's, certainly doesn't make for a good cohesive operation where you have trust built between the people.
Sure.
We realize that, you know, some things exist, and without discussing personnel issues, you know, we realize some things exist, and the board is looking at that very closely from a personnel standpoint. Some of the other things, though, that come to our, and if the commissioners will accept, you know, that we're addressing that particular thing, you know, and I think that might be about as far as we can go unless you have some specific.
We
thing.
fully understand that, and we also understand that it takes time to take action and to see the results. We understand that.
Yeah, you know, I think, I can't, you know, echo what Mike is saying, it's so good you're here, you know. In order for this to be a productive conversation, it has to be pretty frank, pretty straightforward, frank conversation. And we had people come in here, a couple people, one woman was in tears about the quantity of food, the Meals on Wheels. So there's really been kind of three issues, you know, the quality, quantity, the Meals on Wheels, and then the limitations of travel. But it's a bigger issue, you know, and from our perspective, we looked into it, you know, and with Ben, our county attorney, we have absolutely no authority over you guys, zero. Our only vote we have is with our pocketbook. And so that's how we looked at it after hearing these complaints. But honestly, the bigger picture is, it's more, what is the mission here? Because what we've seen happen is, there's been a shift in the way that center's been managed from more of a what's best for the seniors to what's, there's no other way to say it, you know, in terms of quality, quantity, travel, all of that, it's like the joy has been stripped out of everything. And
What's
the whole
easiest?
purpose is
What's
for the,
easiest?
is for the seniors to get them out, so they don't isolate, to get them active. And I'm gonna add one other thing, we wanna work with you, we are not gonna be punitive here, just so you know that. But we're actually willing to even give you more money. If we can kinda have a common vision, is we're not gonna give the minimum amount of food we can give because it technically meets the requirements. If there's more variety we can do, I'm being really frank because I don't know how much of this is true or isn't. I've just had it told to me by people, like, they used to be able to go in town
Check
and
your messages. Kilby Butte is not gonna show up today.
they used to be able to go into town and be able to do some shopping or get some prescriptions, or they can't do that anymore. And these are things we're hearing, and it's like, I kind of back off of all this. What's the mission? Is it to improve the quality of the seniors, or is it to be efficient and be strict with rules? And so we wanna work, and you guys, it's up to you. It's up to you how that, you know, this isn't an indictment on Tracy or we want Tracy removed. This is about the direction that the board wants the performance of what you're overseeing.
Exactly, that's agreed.
Yeah, well, about half of the board is new, including me,
Yeah.
but I do read the policy, and these here complaints need to be coming to the board, and we need to know who they are and why they're complaining. And then we're in the dark there, so it's really hard for us, because it's gonna be our decision on what to do about it.
Yes.
And we really need to gather all that evidence, so without finding out what the complaints are and who's complaining, and have it directly, that way it's not hearsay, and then we can discuss it and make a decision, and that's where I see where the problem is.
This whole issue of hearsay though, you guys, this is why we're thinking we needed feedback from the seniors.
Yeah, we're gonna work that out.
I think we need to agree on, I mean, it's not us, it's, what is the mission? Are you looking to follow the minimum standards of the, or are you looking to improve the quality of life of the seniors around here?
I've just been on the board 2 months, but I asked, what is the mission? And what was the mission? It was to care for our seniors. I didn't write it down, but that's our job. And my personal, I tried to find out as much as I could, so I went to Area 2, and I went to RSVP, and I went to wherever I went to find out. And then met with Tracy about where she spends her money, and she has changed where she buys food. And talking to Natalie, you're absolutely right. The whole climate has changed.
Yeah.
And she's focused on, you know, making sure the title for the cars are there. Or, I mean, she's doing a good job apparently for that, being,
The business end.
but she has no empathy.
None.
There's an intangible there that's
None.
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's possible with her, because she's so defensive, but I think we can work with her. We asked at the last board meeting to put out, to hand out suggestions, a suggestion sheet.
Says that for a little
And she responded with, there is a box for suggestions there in the, and I couldn't find it the other day, but
Well,
It's right by the kitchen door,
yeah,
the window, it's right by the kitchen
is it?
window.
But I think it would be, you know, I don't go in for lunch like, I'm trying.
and my clarification, I use the term suggestion box when I
Yeah.
brought it up to Tracy, and maybe that was the wrong word to use. Maybe I should have said a complaints box, because it's my
That's
understanding,
usually what it is.
it's my understanding from another former board member that that box that Betty's referring to, which is a pretty small box, is a suggestion box with regards to what people want for meals and things like that,
Yeah.
what they'd like to see as a meal. That's not what I intended, and if we have to use the term complaint box, I think that that's appropriate, and something that is visible where people can see it and understand, and you know, I guess that some people always aren't gonna wanna be anonymous to things that they complain about, and I'm not opposed, nor I don't think any of the board members would be opposed to an anonymous complaint coming into that box. At least, in
Who
I
would be
shared
in
your-
charge of opening this box though?
Yeah, who's in charge of,
Who opens it?
yeah,
who's in charge of doing the survey, and who's in charge of making sure those questions are answered, are counted? I
And
mean,
going to you guys?
And go, yes, and going
Has
to
to
you
go to
without.
somebody
Not
on
being
the board.
screened or filtered.
not who's in charge
Yeah.
of the,
I
who's in charge
feel
of the
the
center.
board members should be the ones that read those
That's right.
complaints or whatever,
Correct.
because,
It's easy to throw out the bad ones.
and not just Tracy, and I'm not saying anything against her, just,
I don't think we get them. She's so defensive. And, you know, I hope we can work with that. I mean, cause I called her on it just a few times asking questions. She's
Yeah,
just so defensive.
The complaint should be open with the board present. I mean, that's something that you do with the whole board there.